How would it feel if an entire family were blessed with a magical gift, where every member had a unique power and they all helped each other? But what if there was one girl in the family who didn't receive any magic at all, yet she still believed she could make everything right? At the beginning of the movie, we see a girl named Mirabel sitting with her grandmother, Alma. Alma tells Mirabel a story about how a candle changed her entire life. Alma and Pedro were a couple who had 3 children. But after some time, war broke out in their town, and Pedro and Alma had to leave. Pedro sacrificed his life to save Alma and their children. Because of this, the magic candle gave Alma a wonderful gift. It became so powerful that it provided her with a new home. Along with it, a magical town was created, one that would never disappear. This house was named ℭ𝔬𝔫, and the magical candle gave each family member a special gift. Now, it was Mirabel's turn. The next day, she was supposed to receive her power. Mirabel took a promise from her grandmother about the candle. After that, the story shifts to the present time, where Mirabel has grown up into a cheerful girl. As she steps outside, the village children ask her about her family and if she remembers all of them. They also ask what her own gift is. Here, Mirabel introduces her entire family. Her family lives in the magical house, ℭ𝔬𝔫. Alma, her grandmother, had 3 children, Peppa, Julieta, and Bruno. Peppa had the power to control the weather. Wherever she went, she could change the climate around her. Julieta, Mirabel's mother, had the power to heal people. Anyone who ate her magical food would recover from any illness. Both Peppa and Julieta were married to ordinary people who became part of the magical family. Now, Mirabel had 2 elder sisters, Luisa, who was extremely strong and helped everyone in town, Isabella, who had the ability to make plants and flowers grow wherever she went. Then there were her cousins, Dolores, who could hear even the faintest sounds from far away, Camilo, who had the ability to shapeshift. Antonio, youngest, was about to receive his gift. Today was the special day when Antonio was supposed to get his magical power. The village children ask Mirabel again about her own gift. At this moment, we learn that Mirabel is the only family member who did not receive any magical gift. The children fall silent in shock. Even though Mirabel had no powers, she was happy and helped her family in every way she could. Deep inside, she wished that she could receive a gift from the magical candle, but people often ignored her. That night, Antonio was nervous. He was afraid that he might not receive any gift. Mirabel comforted him, telling him that he was special and would surely get something wonderful. She already knew he loved animals, so she reassured him. When the ceremony began, everyone in the town gathered at ℭ𝔬𝔫. Antonio was called forward, but before stepping ahead, he reached out his hand for Mirabel. He wanted her to walk with him. Mirabel remembers that when she was a child, she too had walked towards her door, but when she touched it, the magic disappeared, and her door vanished. Her grandmother, Alma, never considered her as special because she didn't receive any powers. Now, as Antonio opened his door, the magic candle granted him a gift, the power to talk to animals. Everyone celebrated his new ability. The family took a picture together, but no one called Mirabel to join them. Mirabel felt left out. As she walked through the house, she suddenly saw cracks appearing in the walls of ℭ𝔬𝔫. The candle's magic seemed to be in danger. She ran to her grandmother to tell her, but when the entire family gathered, there were no cracks visible. Alma got angry at Mirabel, scolding her for disturbing the celebration. She told Mirabel that nothing was wrong with ℭ𝔬𝔫 and that she was only creating unnecessary problems. Feeling heartbroken, Mirabel went to her room, but she was determined to find out the truth. She returned to the magical candle and overheard her grandmother praying. Alma was worried about the future of their home. Realizing that her grandmother was scared, Mirabel made up her mind. She had to save the magic. But how? She didn't even have powers. Then she thought of Dolores. Since Dolores could hear everything, she might know something. When Mirabel asked her, Dolores suggested that she talk to Luisa, who had been acting strangely ever since Mirabel mentioned the cracks. Mirabel found Luisa and asked if she had noticed anything weird after the magic was disturbed. At first, Luisa ignored the question, but then she admitted that her strength had been getting weaker. She could no longer lift heavy things as easily as before. Luisa mentioned that the last person who saw something unusual in ℭ𝔬𝔫 was Bruno, Mirabel's uncle. But Bruno had disappeared years ago, and no one in the family ever spoke about him. Determined, Mirabel sneaked into Bruno's secret room. The place was filled with sand and glowing green crystals. As she stepped inside, she saw a broken vision. It showed ℭ𝔬𝔫 crumbling apart, and Mirabel standing in front of it. Scared, she tried to escape. Meanwhile, Louisa told Alma that Mirabel was acting strange and talking about losing the magic. Alma became furious and told Mirabel to stop interfering. She even suggested that Mirabel should leave the house. Upset, Mirabel returned to her room, trying to reassemble the broken vision pieces. Just then, Dolores overheard everything and spilled the secret during dinner. She revealed that Mirabel was the reason the magic was failing. Everyone at the table became silent, and panic spread. The townspeople gathered outside, asking if everything was all right with Casita. Seeing no choice, Mirabel ran away with the vision pieces and discovered a hidden passage behind a painting. She followed the path and found Bruno. Bruno had never actually left. He had been living inside the walls of Casita all this time, hiding from everyone. Mirabel asked him about his vision, but Bruno refused to discuss it. He explained that he had stopped looking into the future because his predictions always caused problems. However, Mirabel convinced him to see the future one more time. She needed to know how to save Casita. They went to Antonio's room, where there was enough space to perform the ritual. As Bruno summoned another vision, a new future appeared. Mirabel desperately requests Bruno to look into the future and tell her what can be done to save their home. Meanwhile, Alma, Mirabel's grandmother, scolds Giulietta, Mirabel's mother, telling her to keep her daughter in check. She blames Mirabel, saying that because of her, the family is falling apart. On the other hand, Bruno starts performing the ritual to see the future. As he focuses, he begins to see visions, but suddenly, the vision shatters before completion. Mirabel insists that he look further, but Bruno hesitates, fearing what he might see. Finally, as Bruno continues, they discover that Casita can be saved, but the key lies with Mirabel. However, for everything to be fixed, Mirabel must hug someone. As the vision becomes clearer, it reveals that Mirabel needs to hug Isabella, her older sister. At this moment, Mirabel and Isabella are not on good terms, constantly arguing with each other. However, for the sake of saving Casita, Mirabel decides to hug her sister. Mirabel approaches Isabella, who is still angry, mainly because her marriage had been ruined. But during their conversation, Isabella reveals that she had always been pressured to be perfect, and that no one ever cared about what she actually wanted. As they talk, Mirabel and Isabella begin to understand each other. Isabella's powers start changing, and instead of only growing perfect flowers, she starts creating colorful, wild, and unique plants. As soon as Mirabel and Isabella hug, Casita's magic strengthens. Everyone is happy again. But then, Alma arrives and yells at Mirabel, blaming her for causing trouble. She believes that Mirabel has been disrupting the family and weakening the magic. She even suggests that Mirabel is the reason Bruno left. Listening to all of this, Mirabel finally speaks up, accusing Alma of never truly loving her and only valuing family members with magical gifts. She reminds Alma that she even forced Bruno to leave when he didn't fit into her perfect expectations. As their argument escalates, Casita starts shaking violently. The magic begins to disappear rapidly, and cracks spread throughout the house. Casita, which has always loved and protected the magical family, starts pushing everyone outside to keep them safe. Mirabel tries to save the magic candle, which is the source of their powers. But as she runs towards it, the house crumbles completely. Mirabel and Alma both fall, and the candle burns out, losing its magic forever. As the dust settles, Mirabel realizes that Casita has completely collapsed. The once magical home is now nothing but ruins. Everyone turns their eyes toward Mirabel, blaming her for what happened. Heartbroken, Mirabel runs away from the town, wandering until she reaches a river. This is the same river where, years ago, Alma and Pedro, Mirabel's grandfather, had fled to during the war. This was also the place where Alma received the magical candle. At this moment, Alma arrives, realizing where Mirabel must have gone. She apologizes to Mirabel, finally admitting that she had been wrong all along. Alma tells Mirabel the full story of how Pedro sacrificed his life to protect their family, and how the candle granted them magic. She confesses that over the years, she became so focused on protecting the magic that she forgot about what truly mattered: her family. Hearing this, Mirabel forgives her grandmother, and at that moment, golden butterflies appear around them, a sign that hope is not lost. Bruno also arrives. Seeing that Alma has finally accepted the truth, Alma embraces him, welcoming him back home after years of being an outcast. With their family reunited, they return to the ruins of Casita, where the townspeople and the entire family decide to rebuild their home, even without magic. Mirabel tells everyone that their strength lies not in magic, but in their unity. Slowly, with everyone's help, they rebuild Casita from scratch. The town, which the Madrigals had helped for so many years, now helps them in return. Meanwhile, Dolores and Mariano, who were supposed to get married earlier, start a new relationship. Finally, as the house is rebuilt, Mirabel is given the honor of placing the final doorknob. As she touches it, the magic returns, ℭ𝔬𝔫 springs back to life, and everyone's powers are restored. The family is reunited, stronger than ever, and this time, Mirabel is truly a part of it, not because of magic, but because of who she is. And with that, the magical story of the Madrigal family ends. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out our other videos and subscribe for more magical adventures. See you next time.